They called me the charity case. They laughed while they spent my father's legacy. But they forgot one thing. I was the one who kept the books. And their biggest secret is about to cost them everything. I remember the way the air felt, cold and heavy, the day of my father's funeral. I was 22, standing in a black dress that felt like it was suffocating me. My cousins Sarah and Chloe, they didn't look sad. They looked hungry. My father had built a textile empire in North Carolina, a legacy of hard work. But as soon as he was gone, the vultures circled. My Aunt Martha, his own sister, she took me aside before the dirt was even settled. She told me there was nothing left. She said the business was in debt, that my father had made mistakes. They moved me into the small gardener's cottage at the back of the estate I grew up in. They thought, because I was young, because I was grieving, that I wouldn't ask questions. For 2 years, I played the part. I wore the same 2 pairs of jeans. I worked a waitressing job in town. I let them see me struggle. I watched from my small window as they threw lavish parties in my childhood home. I heard Sarah laughing about my tragic downfall, calling me the broke orphan while she wore my mother's pearls. But they didn't know. I wasn't just working at the diner. Every night, I was sitting at my small wooden table with my father's old backup hard drive. He had taught me never to trust the surface. He taught me integrity and how to spot a lie in a ledger. The red flags were everywhere. The company wasn't failing, it was being bled dry. Aunt Martha was moving money into offshore accounts, but she was doing it poorly. She was arrogant. She thought I was too broken to look. I felt the tension building in my chest every time I had to ask her for a small loan to pay my heating bill, only for her to sigh and tell me how expensive I was to keep around. I saw the way they looked at me, with pity and a hidden, sharp satisfaction. They loved seeing me at the bottom. It made them feel powerful. The peak of the betrayal happened on my 20th birthday. I thought, maybe, they would show some humanity. I went to the main house, just to say hello. I stood in the hallway, and I heard them. She actually believes the debt story, Chloe giggled. Mom, you're a genius. If she knew the estate was worth $40 million, she'd actually have a life. She doesn't deserve it. Martha's voice was cold, like ice hitting a glass. Her father was soft. He wanted to give it all to her. But we're the ones who know how to spend it. Let her keep scrubbing floors. It builds character. I felt my heart shatter. It wasn't just about the money. It was the realization that the people I called family had watched me suffer, had watched me starve some nights, all while sitting on my father's fortune. I went back to my cottage and I broke down. I sat on the floor and I cried until my throat was raw. I felt betrayed by my own blood. They weren't just thieves, they were monsters. But then, the tears stopped. A coldness settled over me. I opened the hard drive one more time. I found the file, the one Martha thought she had deleted. It wasn't just a secret ledger. It was a record of illegal contracts. They hadn't just stolen my inheritance. They were defrauding the government. They thought I was broke, but I was holding a thermal detonator. I spent the next month, carefully, quietly, documenting every single transaction. I watched them from the shadows, smiling at them during the day, while I prepared their ending at night. The turning point came during the company's 50th anniversary gala. They invited me, but only to work the coat check. They wanted me to see their glory from the service entrance. I didn't wear my waitress uniform. I walked into that ballroom wearing a dress that cost me 3 months of tips. I looked like my father's daughter. The music stopped, the whispers started. Martha walked up to me, her face turning a deep, angry red. What are you doing? Get to the back, you embarrassment. I leaned in and I whispered, so softly. I checked the ledger, Martha. I found the offshore accounts and the forged signatures. She froze. The blood drained from her face. You're lying. I'm not, I said, smiling, with a calm I didn't know I had. And I didn't just find them. I sent them. To the IRS and the FBI. They should be here in about 5 minutes. The revenge was silent, and then it was loud. The front doors opened. Not with guests, but with men in suits. I watched as the handcuffs were clicked onto Martha's wrists. I watched as Sarah and Chloe screamed, as their luxury cars were seized, as the house they had stolen from me was cordoned off. I stood on the marble stairs, watching them be led away. They looked at me with such pure hatred. But all I felt was peace. I wasn't broke. I was finally free. The resolution was quiet. The courts returned the estate to me. I sold the big house. I didn't need the ghosts. I kept the cottage, and I started a foundation in my father's name. They tried to call me from prison, begging for money for lawyers. I didn't answer. I simply blocked the numbers. Justice is a very quiet thing. If you believe that family shouldn't be the ones to stab you in the back, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more stories of justice and revenge. And tell me in the comments, what would you have done in my place?